Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Kackman here, and today I'm going to be discussing the 16-week program that I created for a Marine. So going over the different types of material, the things that we touch based on is when it comes to Marine is preparation for anything in a tactical environment. So GPP, general physical preparedness, is definitely something that is a necessary when it comes to physical training, whether you are an athlete or a tactical athlete. And again, when we say general preparedness, we're talking about the ability to do anything in any type of environment. And then we went over speed and agility, your quickness, the high intensity tactical training, so better known as HIT, high intensity interval training for civilians, but in the military world, it's tactical training. So we're using a lot of different type of movements and I guess you could say type of gear, so rucks, sandbags, other rifles for a way of doing our training, and then getting into more specific your strength or Olympic lifting, specifically bench, squat, deadlift. We go into overhead press because a lot of movements you're moving upward, and then also you're clean. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share my screen for my paper so you can see what it is that I went over, and we'll move forward. All right, so why did I choose this structure? Excuse me, choose this structure for a Marine. So bottom line is it's supposed to be a crawl, walk, run theory. So when it comes, I separated into four different phases. So first phase is your foundation. So how are we going to build that focus on that movement? That's quality for an aerobic base, based off of using the HIT. Your GPP and all your technique bases. And then we're moving into your power endurance, followed by your max performance, which is like very high. So that would be like moving through weeks 5 through 12. And then eventually we're talking about your how do we transfer this to your tactical aspect for a Marine. So the structure ensures that the Marine builds a strong base for advancing into more intense performance specific training. The tapering maintains the intensity while reducing volume to help with mitigate injury. So the justification as to why we do these specific type of lifts is uh, it's going to combine resistance training, interval conditioning, and tactical endurance, such as your rucking, so carrying a pack, and then swimming as a form of aerobic exercise that is limiting the amount of ground and pound on the body. This hybrid approach is able to develop a more anaerobic and aerobic energy systems while making sure that the Marines can sustain a prolonged effort and perform these different type of explosive movements. By integrating all these elements, it prepares the Marines for any type of mission set they may be given, and allowing them to transition seamlessly, more or less, you could say, so that they limit the amount of wear and tear in the body, but are able to go at a moment's notice. Um, More so moving into the specific types of exercises. So going back to the foundation, we're going to be focusing more on, like, again, your specialty lifts or your strength lifts. So squat, bench, deadlift. So I broke it up into you have your lower and your lower strength. So that's like your maximal effort. But then you also move into your explosive effort as well when it comes to the different types of exercises. So I really wanted to break it down so that each individual was getting a good basis as well as a well-developed program so that it would work not just the upper body but the lower body, but then also their endurance as well. And then that also would move into you can't be an explosive or you can't be a very strong person unless you have that good flexibility. So that it was very important to include that recovery, flexibility, and mobility components when it comes to starting from the ground up. So essentially, for when it comes to being a Marine in a tactical environment, is we were talking about sustaining for long term, because the military spends thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to train Marines. And if we only keep them in the fight for a short period of time, so 5 to 10 years, then we're doing a disservice to the military because we're literally wasting all this money to train these individuals, but their bodies aren't able to hold up. So mostly when it comes to creating that flexibility and that mobility is reducing the overuse of injuries for the high volume that is required of them. So I definitely wanted to get away when I created this program is the stigma of, hey, you just have to lift it and you just have the movement. That's the wrong way of looking at things. So I definitely brought in a lot of the different components of like yoga, swimming. I think these are all very key components in order to build a very good base, and also ensuring that the Marines' bodies can last for an extended period of time. Overall, this program I feel that is very sound. Just going through it is your foundations. Uh, Weeks 1 through 4 is your foundations. Phase 2, power and endurance. So we're looking at it. You've moved from your 3 to 8 rep scheme with 65%, and now you're moving up to 70 to 75%. And then eventually, when you get to your phase 3, you're looking at your max performance. So you're looking at all those major lifts with a increase of amount of rounds that you're doing it, but the decrease in reps, but you're also increasing the amount of weight. So by the time you get to the max performance of 9 to 12, you are like ready to go. And by phase 4, we should be able to transition to what it is that we need to do tactically. And then going all the way down the bottom, I made sure that for each of my weekly training schedules that there was a rest period. Um, I would say of a 7 day week, everyone needs rest, but they're also within that 7 day week, there is a kind of an active recovery day in order for them to be working on some type of speed and agility, which some may look at that as not active recovery, but I feel like if you're not moving a bunch of weight, that is a active recovery day. And then bottom line is when it came to this program, it just builds a complete physical readiness and needs for combat and operational success. Um, by going through this program or this class, by integrating GPP, your speed and agility and quickness, your high intensity tactical training, as well as your working in flexibility, agility, and then your strength. I think this is a great program that anyone could use if they're training tactical athletes, so anyone in the military. But for me specifically, it was training United States Marines.